Hey, welcome back to Get Down to Business. Today, I am joined by an incredible guest who's helping people find their way back to themselves. Our guest is Anusia Gillespie. She's a lawyer, turned novelist, and a certified yoga instructor. She's someone who's lived the very journey she writes about, moving from a high-achieving legal career to a multi-dimensional life that honors her purpose. Anusia's work addresses a phenomenon she calls the great gloom, a creeping sense of emotional burnout and disengagement that many people are feeling today. Her debut novel, Soul Toll, blends her experience in the legal industry with the timeless journey of personal and spiritual awakening. Anusia, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Anusia, you've had a very powerful career in legal innovation, which you've since pivoted from. Can you share what led to that shift and how your personal experience with the great gloom inspired you to write your novel, Soul Toll?
Absolutely. It really started about 10 years ago. I started out as a corporate lawyer and then moved into a leadership role at Harvard Law School. And there was a lot of conversation around innovation, and it just seemed like an amazing place to jump in and solve a problem in a way that really lit me up. And through that kind of journey and transformation, I was simultaneously engaged in a yoga teacher training program. And so I had a bit of a spiritual awakening while I was going through a career change, and then got into this space where people weren't on a traditional path. As a lawyer in a law firm, there's a very paved path, but you jump into the world of legal tech and innovation, and people are pioneering it. And so all of those things kind of came together. And over the past 10 years, I've experienced pioneering a career and what it takes to do that. It's not easy, stepping off the paved path. And over the past 5 years, put everything I've learned through that journey into my debut novel, Soul Toll.
Amazing, and congratulations. You have said that the core message of your work is the courage to pave your path in a world that's telling you who to be. Why do you feel this message is so urgent and necessary right now for so many people?
It is so necessary to remember who you are and so hard to do. There is constant noise about who you should be, distraction taking you away from who you are. And in this world of change and adaptation, I'm in legal tech, I'm in artificial intelligence. I see and experience and am part of the change of an industry transformation in law. And as you undergo that kind of transformation, and as the world is telling you who to be and to step on this paved path, it's not going to be a successful model going forward, because there's going to be so much change and adaptation that people really need to come back to the core and remember who they are so they can contribute their highest and best value going forward, because the paved paths of yesterday are not going to be the paved paths of not even tomorrow, of today.
So true. Again, I'm chatting with Anusia Gillespie. And Anusia, your book touches on how to face the forces that keep us tethered to a life we only thought we wanted. What are some of those forces, and how can we begin to confront them so we can reclaim our purpose?
So some of those forces are distraction. A lot of people kind of telling you again, oh, this is what success looks like. And for a long time, I believed that this is what success looks like. I go to law school, I go to a law firm, I become a partner, and these are the things that I check the box to, and then I will feel success, and then I will feel satisfied, and then I will, be able to live my life beyond whatever that success metric is. There is a lot of fear. I think fear is honestly the ultimate thing pulling people away from who they are. It's social fear of, simple as what do my parents tell other people that I do? I will tell you, my parents have no idea how to tell other people what I do. That is no longer a success metric for me. So it's fear, it's distraction, it's all of these things that honestly, this industry in law and professional services and in other areas too runs on fear and runs on people having a certain polish instead of bringing their authenticity forward. And I think part of the problem, frankly, is that people don't remember or are aware of their authentic selves. And I'll tell you a very quick narrative on that, which was a LinkedIn comment, actually, I saw a few months ago of a lawyer responding to Adam Grant on flow and asking, how do you know when you're in flow? And this really punched me because it's like, how do you not know when you're in flow? That's when it's been 3 hours and all of a sudden you pull away and you don't realize it's been 3 hours. Like, I'm so aware of that and attuned to that. And I think a lot of people are so distracted and checking the boxes and just going through the activity of life that they've lost the ability to check in with themselves and have awareness of their mindset, of what they're producing.
Amazing. I know you're also a yoga instructor. You talk about how mindfulness grounds the inner work needed for outer change. For someone who's listening, who feels trapped or stuck, how can practices like yoga and mindfulness help them begin to move through the fear and discomfort that they feel?
Yeah, and I want to be clear, for me, it was yoga. I've already had a lot of advanced readers of Soul Toll comment that in the novel, it mentions that there are a lot of different ways to get to this world of resonance, which in the novel is where the protagonist is able to find herself again. And so I'm not prescribing yoga or meditation as the answer. That's how this particular protagonist found it. That's how I found it. And I'll tell you, like, when I was going through the yoga teacher training, when I was forced to sit down to meditate, I started sweating. I wanted to get out of there so fast. Like, I was not in a place where my mind was open to this, where it felt good for me. But then when I opened my eyes from that first meditation experience and looked at these people around me, other people were in a happy place. Other people didn't have that experience. And it really made me reflect on myself of what is it? Like, what state am I in that I'm so uncomfortable sitting with myself for 10 minutes. Like, what's going on there? And let me get curious about that and sit with myself a little longer.
Yeah, very, very interesting. You said that Soul Toll delivers real well-being lessons through story. Can you give our listeners an example from the novel that speaks to burnout or reclaiming purpose in a fresh way?
Yeah, I would say there are a lot of examples. One that comes to mind is around fear. And the protagonist has to go through and she has to, basically get all of these tools through the novel and have all of these awakenings and discoveries to then in the end, well, I won't give the end away, but be able to get to her next level. And so fear, I think a lot of people push it away, and it represents in people in anxiety and in these really negative ways where if instead of pushing it away, you start to approach it and ask it, what's it trying to teach you? And that's a point in the novel where there's actually a woman named Feyre who comes while one of the characters is experiencing this deep fear and anxiety and says, why are you pushing me away? I'm here to tell you that you're alive. I'm here to point you in the right direction. So get curious about this and don't run away from me. Like, ask what I have to teach you. And I think that, as a very practical thing, if anyone's at a fork in the road and there's a certain decision that maybe you're fearful about, if you ask why, maybe it's actually because it's a fear of the unknown and it's expansive and it's just not the comfortable path. Maybe that's the right direction that you should at least consider.
And for someone listening who's feeling stuck, what's one small, simple step that they can take today to begin creating proof that their light isn't gone?
I'd say anything creative, at least, for me in this experience, and then also in advanced reader feedback, what everyone's coming back to me already and saying is, this is like Big Law meets Harry Potter meets Glastonbury. And I know that sounds like a big answer to your question, but I think it speaks to the deeper piece of what is it creatively that I'm missing? For me, when I'm very, very ambitious person, and I would go from my workday to trying to get ahead in leadership tips and leadership advice, and everything felt so dry. And so that was part of the space that Soul Toll lives in, of like, how do we both get ahead and be creative and entertaining, and do so in a way that creates a community and talks about humanity. And so I think if someone wants to take a small step, find something creative and just get started there.
I love it. Anusia Gillespie, really enjoyed our conversation. I know our listeners will want to find your book, Soul Toll, and get in touch with you to learn more and learn from you. How can they do so?
Thank you. So it launches October 7th. It's available now on Amazon for pre-order, and then will be available in bookstores as well after launch on October 7th. You can get in touch with me at anusiagillespie.com. I'm also very active on LinkedIn, so that's a great place to connect with me there.
Awesome. Anusia Gillespie, thank you so much for inspiring our listeners with your story. And I know you'll inspire through your book as well. We're going to have to squeeze in a quick break here in just a moment for some headlines, commercials. When we come back, we've got a lot more in store, all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. Get on my website, syklein.com. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.